Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Nikki here. So today, if you hadn't guessed already, I am going to be creating or recreating the Kim K Met Gala 2019 makeup look. I did this one last year and I absolutely loved her makeup. I feel like Mario's done such a good job this year as well. I lived for her look, like the whole dripping effect with all the gems. I thought it worked beautifully. I also watched her little video with a Vogue, and she couldn't sit down in that little corset of hers. She couldn't sit down. I just think she looks stunning. To me, she's like a goddess. So I wanted to just recreate the look, and this is what I've come up with. I hope I've done it justice. Let me know your thoughts down below. But nonetheless, if you want to see how I created this Kim K recreation, then just keep on watching. Hi guys, so I'm going to start off just with a fresh base. Now from what I've read, I know that Mario really prepped Kim's skin. So we did a lot of skincare, and all the skincare that he used was Tatcha. That shit is expensive. I don't have any of that. But you want to put on a mask. I've done a Givenchy mask, put on your eye cream, do all of that jazz, exfoliate, and get your skin really nicely prepped. Now once you've done that, I'm going to move on to using the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream. The reason why I'm using this is because I know that Mario absolutely loves it and he uses a generous amount of it. I love it. I've nearly run out of this tub. This is expensive too, but it's so worthwhile because I use it every single day underneath makeup prep. Do you know what I mean? So kind of calculate your costs, and if you're going to use it every day, then spend the money. It's just so super hydrating. And because we are using powders, and we're using powders because at the Met Gala there's loads of cameras, but you know your girl doesn't like powders. You want to moisturize your skin very heavily underneath so it doesn't get too dry and dehydrated looking. So I'm going to pop a little bit of this on and moisturize it all the way down onto my neck as well, all over the face. Just really work it in to the skin. Listen, I'm telling you, look at my skin now. I would go out like this. Like, I feel like the Kiehl's makes me feel so much more confident. This is the Ultra Facial Cream, and make sure that you get the broad spectrum SPF 30 in it as well. I don't know what it is about this one, but the one with the SPF 30 in it, as opposed to, I think they've got two different types. This one is just so much more moisturizing. I like it because it makes my skin look a little bit oily and greasy, and because I've got dehydrated skin, I love that. So if that's what you're after, you've got a drier skin, you just really want to moisturize, but you want that moisturizing to last a while. Like, I want my skin to look like this a while, then go ahead and get the Kiehl's. Now because I do want to achieve that wet look, I want more of kind of like a stroby underneath skin before I apply the foundation. So my foundation and my highlighters aren't doing all of the work. So I'm going to use the Farsali. This is the Liquid Glass Radiance Makeup Skin Serum with hyaluronic acid. So it's going to help plump up the skin as well. We're going to add a couple of drops of this onto the skin and then massage it all over as well. Now that's all my prep on and I feel heavily moisturized, I'm going to move into the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Hollywood Flawless Filter in the shade number 5 Tan. I think I need to get the darker shade as well so I can mix them together, but these are £30 each. So I mean, I got one to start off with. This is just going to give you that really nice kind of strobe kind of look underneath the skin. I'm going to pop it onto the high points and then I'm going to blend it out using my damp beauty blender. Okay, so that's a little bit more of an extra move. You don't need to do it, but my skin's just looking really healthy now, and I love that product. I didn't use too much either, just a little bit, just on the high points to give that strobing look. Now from what I can see, and I feel like I've really stared at Kim's face, her foundation and her base is obviously flawless, but it looks quite matte. Like, it doesn't look wet like her chest or anything like that, and I think that's solely to do with the photographs, and she didn't want to look a bit greasy, and Mario knew what he was doing. But because her skin looks very much like skin as well, I'm not going to go with a dewy foundation, but I'm going to go with a foundation that looks like skin. And the closest that I've got is the NARS. This is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade Syracuse. It's a beautiful foundation, very silky, comparable to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, and I know that Mario loves to use that on Kim as well. So we're going to do a couple of pumps of this, and we're going to pop it all over the face. Now honestly, if you guys haven't tried this foundation, you need to. Look how flawless. I know my hair's looking a little bit messy, but we're going to sort that out later. Look how flawless the skin's looking. It looks super flawless. It's not heavy, but it's not light either. It's a very medium coverage. You can build it up. You can build it up to heavy if you want it. I like to sheer it out a little bit. If I was going to do it on like a daily, I'd sheer it out with essential oils. But it looks semi-matte. and it just looks like skin. It literally just looks like skin. Now, because I have these bad boys to cover up and I want them to look flawless, I want to correct them with a concealer or a foundation that is my skin color, and then I want to brighten afterwards with a concealer. I'm not actually going to be using a concealer to cover my dark circles. I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. I think if you watched my last video, then you guys, last video or the video before, you guys will know that I used this and it is so flawless. It dries completely matte and it didn't crease, which I really liked. So I'm going to use it again. This is in the shade Brown Sugar, and I'm going to pop this on my beauty blender and then just pop this on my eyelid and underneath my eyes as well, just to get rid of the darkness and shadows. Fun fact about me, I was just thinking about this whilst I was doing my dark circles, is that every time that I've got my makeup done, and I don't actually ever get my makeup done, but say I've been somewhere, I got my makeup done by a senior artist, or I've just had my makeup done, and they will never cover my dark circles to how I want them. I don't know if it's in my head that they're more dark than what they seem to like everyone else. But like, I want concealer, I want full coverage concealer, I want it like this, I want them to be dissipated, I want them to have gone, I want them to be flawless. And every time that I've had my dark circles covered, they just don't add enough product, or the product that they're using is just not as heavy, and they're like, no, it's fine, you can't even see the dark circles. I'm like, yes, I can. Like, I can see them through. And I think they always try to go for the natural approach. Like with my skin, I don't mind natural, I don't mind it at all. Put a tinted moisturizer on my skin, I'll be happy. But with my dark circles, give me some coverage, give me something to work with. And they just never do. I don't know why that is. I don't know whether it's because they don't know. I don't think it's a matter of fact that they don't know how to cover them. I think it's because they don't see them as bad as what I see them, you know? Now, Kimmy K is known for a bright under eye, a highlighted under eye. So we are going to be doing that. We're not going to do it so severe. We're still going to strip it back a little bit. I don't think in the pictures it looks bright, but it didn't look so stark white like how she's had it in the past. So I'm going to use the Fenty. This is a Pro Filter Concealer in the shade 260. This one dries down really matte, so I think it's going to be good for us. We're not going to have to use as much powder because it's not so creamy. And I'm going to blend that out using a damp beauty blender. Put in the majority of the concealer underneath my eyes, and then just a little bit down the center of the face so it all evens out. Okay, so far I'm loving this skin. I think if there's one thing that I feel really confident in doing, it's skin. I just love doing skin, especially on a deeper skin tone. I've got something for skin and making it look flawless. I'm in a very chatty mood today. I don't know why. Probably because I've not spoken to anyone in like a few days. But just pounce your beauty blender. And also, I get a lot of questions on how to not make your under eyes look cakey. Keep blending and blend all that product out. Don't try and keep it too concentrated into that area. You want the majority of it to be here, but blend it out so there's not like a harsh line, you know. And pouncing the beauty blender will thin that product down as well. Now I am going to work with a cream bronzer and then pop over a powder. I'm just having a look at Kim's skin right here. And she seems to be very bronzed around her forehead, around her cheekbones, and a little bit on her jawline as well. It's just a little bit stronger on her forehead area. So that's where I'm going to put the majority of the product. I'm going to be using the Bobbi Brown. This is the foundation stick in Warm Almond. You guys will be familiar with this. It's not too strong a bronze, but it's still bronze. I like this because it gives me a basis to work with, and then I'll put the powder down, which will stick to it, and it will just last that little bit longer. Okay, so it looks like to me that her nose is also snatched, but we're going to do that when it comes to powder, just because cream can get a little bit messy, and it's not a defined contour, but you can definitely see that it's there, you know, it's snatched, but in a soft way. I'm just going to set that bronzer in place. I'm going to go over top. This is the MAC Give Me Sun Mineralized Skin Finish. This shade is beautiful because it's really warm, and the bronzer that she's using looks really golden. So I'm going to use the same brush, and we're just going to dab in the areas, concentrating it a little bit more on the forehead and the cheekbones where she seems to be the most bronzed, and just buffing that in to that cream to set it in place. Now we're going to do a small snatch of the nose. I'm going to be using the Nip and Fab. This is the contour palette, and I'm actually going to take the shade in the middle right here. This one's called Chestnut, just a little bit of it. And I'm just going to work it down the sides of the nose. Nothing too harsh, just very soft, but just to give us a really slight shadow, to give us definition to the nose. And then I'm also just going to take a little bit of that colour just in the cheekbone area, just to make my cheekbones appear a little bit higher as well. Okay, so one thing that I really want to do, and especially if you're getting photos taken, always bring your foundation down, because once I've got all that concealer, the bronzer, everything on, my face looks very flawless. But you can still see like veins on my chest, you can still see all of that, and that is fine. But just pop on a thin layer of foundation just so it's all cohesive when you get a photo taken. Otherwise, you'll be able to see a lot of foundation and concealer and powder on the face, and then it just goes to raw skin on the neck and chest. So for this, I'm actually going to take the MAC. This is the Matchmaster Shade Intelligence Compact in the shade number 5. It's just kind of like a sponge-like texture, so it's quite thin, and I'm just going to dab this all over the chest and neck area. Next, I'm going to move on to brows. I feel like it's going to be quite difficult to get Kim's brows because I'm not too sure on how to manipulate your own brows to get someone else's brows. Her brows are arched, but they're a little bit more rounded and they're longer, so I'm definitely going to lengthen them, but they're just a little bit more rounded than mine, as opposed to quite square at the front. So I'm going to be using the Benefit Precisely My Brow in shade number 5, because obviously that's what I'm going to use it by Benefit, and I'm just going to fill them. Her brows were quite full, so I'm going to fill them to the best of my ability. Now that the brows are filled, I'm going to set them ever so quickly with the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. Now I'm going to move on to the main attraction, which I personally thought was not only her outfit, but her eyes were stunning as well. They really complemented that wet Californian girl look that she was going for. So this eye look was very up my street, and Kim's makeup in general is very up my street. It was a warm, like orangey, warm brown spotlight eye, like a halo eye with glitter, coming a little bit further up than what you would think in the center, and then it was all smoked out beautifully by Mario. So I'm going to start off with using the Anastasia. This is the Soft Glam palette, and we're going to take the shade Orange Soda to start off with. This is just going to be a really easy transition color. We're going to start adding depth after this, but it's just our first base color that we're going to pop down. I'm going to pop it in my crease, and I'm also going to pop it in my inner corner and my outer corner as well. Once that color is down, it's barely visible, but you can see the warmth coming through from Orange Soda. I'm going to move on to Burnt Orange, which is probably my favorite color of all time. Using the same brush, I'm going to do exactly the same motions, going through the crease and going in the inner and outer corners as well. Now, taking the two shades together, I'm just going to mix them and pop them on my lower lash line. Her lower lash line is smoked out, but it's not as smoked out as what I usually do, so we're just going to quickly give it a smoke out. I was just looking at my under eyes, and I think that they look so flawless because of that Huda Beauty. I need to get more of it, and I need just to start using that as concealer, because it really does kind of create that blurring effect underneath your eyes. Now, from what I can see in the photos, it looks like she's got not red, but there's an eyeshadow there that's got like an undertone of red. So I'm going to go in one step further, and we're going to go in to Sienna out of this Soft Glam palette. I'm going to be using the Zoeva 224 Luxe Defined Crease Brush, because I don't want this to be as blown out as the other shades. We want it to be a little bit more compact. So I'm going to pop this in my crease, and then pop a little bit in my inner and outer corners as well. I'm going to take that same Sienna colour and just run a little bit of that on my lower lash line as well. Now, to get that sultry Kim K look, she's got black liner. I think she's tight lined with it as well, because she's got lashes on. She's got black in her waterline, so I'm going to pop that in. She's also got, like, I don't know how to explain it, like feline looking eyes where it kind of wings in a little bit, but you can't see it. So I'm going to take it right into my tear duct, the black liner, to try and extend that line. I'm going to be using the Kat Von D. This is the Anti-Precision Pencil Smoky Eyeliner in Trooper Black, just because it is very intense black. This liner to me then looks like it's not been smoked out, so there's like black on the lower lash line, but just the tiniest bit to kind of make the waterline blend with the smoke. This is the make or break of the eye look. I've been putting this off. It's the shimmer in the center for the halo effect. The halo comes up a little bit higher than expected. It doesn't, I think it comes up a little bit higher than the crease, but I can't work out what color it is. I think it's like a nudie silver with specks of glitter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a base to start off with. Nothing too opaque, just more of like a sheen. And then I think I'm going to pack on a little bit of glitter over the top. I've settled for the colour Shell by Dose of Colours. This is the Ideal Duo. I'm just going to use the powder formulation and just pop it onto the center of the lids and take it a little bit higher to start off with. Okay, so I'm actually really liking that colour. I'm not too sure if I need to go over top with a glitter. It's looking a lot more glittery in person. Just bear in mind that I've come above the crease and I've come up to like here, which feels a little bit weird and not like something you should be doing, but it works. Also, I feel like her halos go up at an angle as opposed to straight. They kind of like, when she looks down, they kind of shine that way, is what I've read anyway. I feel like this is going to make the slightest bit of difference, but I'm going to go into the Too Faced. This is the Pretty Rich palette. I'm going to take this silver right here, the glitter, and we're just going to dab that on top of that shimmer. Okay, now that the eyeshadows are done, I'm going to move on to liner. She hasn't got a wing liner, but the only photo of her looking down, I feel like they've just thickened up, well, Mario's thickened up the top lash line, but it's smoked out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pen to start off with. This is the Benefit Roller Liner, and I'm just going to create like a medium liner, just stopping right at the end, and I'm going to smoke that out with a black eyeshadow. I'm now going to add a little bit of mascara. This is the Maybelline, the Colossal Big Shot Volume Express Mascara. We're just going to add it to our top lashes for now, and then I'm going to move on to the cheeks. You guys know that I like to do different areas first, and then I'll move back to eyes and add lashes later, just to make sure that everything is working cohesively. Okay, now from what I can see, she's got a blusher on and it's quite peachy, it's quite orangey. Her blusher also sits quite high up, so it doesn't, I don't feel like it comes on the apples. It's coming more here, like on top here, and then bringing it a little bit further down. So that's what I'm going to do. I think the blusher that I'm going to use is the Wet n Wild Colour Icon. You guys know that I love Wet n Wild blushes. This one is in the shade Mellow Wine. It's not a bronzer. It's got a kind of orangey peachy tone to it, but it's still very warm. So I'm going to use this on my cheeks. I'm going to dab a little bit just here because she seems very warm, like in her temple areas. Don't you think it's so weird? And I do want to do a lot more videos of like recreations of celebrity makeups done by their makeup artists, just because it does change the game. Like I was looking at my skin and I think my skin looks really flawless, and I think that's because I'm kind of following from what I can see from a photo, and my makeup looks very different. But don't you think it's weird how placement, just a placement of a product, just a different way of putting it on your face can change? Like my cheekbones look a lot higher when my blusher's lower down. I need to re-snatch my nose real quick. So what I can see is I feel like the snatching of the nose starts like from the eyeshadow and then you bring it down. And I'm just intensifying it a little bit because it was very soft, but I just want to bring it to life again. Now I am going to set my under eyes and around my mouth area with powder, just to give us that matte look and flawless look there. The powder that I love and is very dear to my heart is the NARS Translucent Crystal Light Reflecting Setting Powder. The reason being, and I know that I use this in like every single video, is because if I make a mistake and I need to add concealer on top, you can without making that crumbling feeling. It's not ashy. It just sets beautifully and it's very finely milled. So we're just going to set very quickly. Now for highlighter, I've looked at her photos and to me she looks quite demi-matte. So she looks matte in the right areas, and then there's just a little bit of highlighter just on her cheekbone right here. So when I turn, you can see there's no shine. She's got a little bit of shine, but it's nothing crazy. It's not glittery from what I can see. It's just very like wet looking but strategically placed. So what I'm going to do is I want to be a little bit bougie, so we're going to be using the Givenchy. This is a shimmer powder in shimmery gold. Now it doesn't have sparkle in it, but it gives you that subtle highlight, and that's what I want. I don't want that beaming highlighter, just a subtle highlighter. So I'm going to pop it just on the tops of my cheekbones. Now I'm going to move back to eyes. I went back and forth with lashes so many times. I think if I had the House of Lashes Iconics, they would be amazing. I think she wore them, or she wore something very similar for the Met Gala last year. And these lashes are separated and they come to a point very much like Iconics do, but I haven't got them. So I'm going to start off with the Cocoa Lashes in More. I'm just hoping that these aren't too big. So we're going to pop these on and see what they look like. Listen, I must be late to the party. I have this, I was sent this by Lash Unlimited. It's this kind of eyelash color. it's not even a curler, it's like to pop your lashes on with and to squeeze your natural lashes. And oh my god, does it work a treat. I used to use this little tweezer man, this little one, to pinch all my hairs. This one just does it all in one go. Now I've seen them before, I've just never used one before. This is insane. That really connects your lashes, because honestly, actually, in the pictures that I've seen of Kim K, I know that one lashes isn't as down. I can see a little bit of skin peeking through, and I think it's her left, I don't know which eye it is, but it's one of her lashes, and it's one of my pet peeves when you can see skin when you don't really pinch the natural lash with the fake lash. You can see it in photographs. Okay, once my falsies are down and they're not going anywhere, they are stuck on, I'm going to apply a little bit of mascara on to my bottom lashes as well. Moving on to lips, and now Kim's got a dark lip liner. I want to say it's like a brownish lip liner, and then she's got, it looks like a peachy colour in the centre, and then she's got a gloss over the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, this is the Rimmel's 046 Ultimate Lip Liner. I love this lip liner for me. I use it with like everything. So I'm just going to line my lips lightly with this shade. Now that I look a little bit crazy and aligned, I am going to go in with a peachy kind of gloss. You could do a lipstick as well, but I'm going to try this. This is the Benefit Punch Pop in Sugar Cookie, my favourite colour of all time. I'm going to pop this in the centre of the lips and blend that out using my finger. And then, because I want it a tiny bit more nude, I'm going to be using the Dose of Colours. This is the Honey and Home gloss over top. Now I'm just going to spritz with a little bit of the Farsali Rose Gold Skin Mist. And then, because we all know, and we were all staring at Kim K's chest, it was glistening like she'd come out of the sea. It looked stunning. Just to recreate that wetness, I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty. This is the Aphrodite Nymph Body Highlighter Illuminator, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the CYO bronzing oil just to give it a little bit more of a tan look, and pop that on my neck and chest area. I'm just going to quickly take these hair clips out so I can style my hair real quick, just to get that wet look. And I think you can see like the mist of it. I'm using the Lee Stafford Shine Spray. I don't know, I'm not amazing at hair. I don't know the right way about it, but I'm still learning. I'm using the Shine Spray, and it's actually making my hair look wet slash greasy. I'm just going to do the front bits because that's what you guys are going to see. And her hair was fairly short. My hair is fairly long. So I've curled it, I pinned it, and we're just going to add... Okay guys, and that is the finished look. Let me know what you thought of it down below. I'm not too sure on the hair, but this is how she sort of wore it. So we're going to try and pull it off. Am I Kim K yet? Let me know down below. Like, am I Kim K? I love this look. It's very, very me. I love all the tones that Mario's used on her eyes. I actually really like this nude lip as well. And I'm not that much of a very nudie wearer. I don't like things that are too nude on the lip. This is looking stunning. It's my cup of tea. Let me know your thoughts down below. Also follow me on Instagram for daily content there, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Mwah.